Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully. Well, that kind of failed. Oh, Jesus Christ, time to run away, run away, run away, run away. Let's not stay around and get hit, because this thing is chasing after us. And, yeah, you're kind of defenseless at this point in time, so, no means of defense. And, it was scary, but luckily, in the X-ray room, where Caroline can breathe a sigh of relief. Because now we have the most safe-inducing thing in the history of ever, a priest. By the way, enjoy this mouth movement while you can, because, well, these are pretty much going to be the few cutscenes you're getting. The rest of the game is presented like this.
What the hell is going on here?
My child, you are pale. What happened to you?
A person in a wheelchair with knives in his hands was chasing me.
Oh, it's you. Don't you remember me? I'm the town priest. We met here in the chapel only a couple of days ago.
What? I'm sorry. I don't remember you. I certainly don't remember coming here before.
I see. Perhaps I'm mistaken. I'm old and get confused every now and again.
What is going on here, Father? Where is everybody?
The patients and the hospital personnel have been transferred to the new hospital in town. This old mansion has been left pretty much abandoned.
Why are all the lights off? I don't like this.
I feel the same. Something evil is happening here. Something wicked that hides in the shadows.
Is there a way to turn on the lights?
The old generator has been playing up. It happens sometimes. Go to the end of the hall and through the door that leads to the generator room. You can restore the power from there.
I see. I'll do that.
Wait. Take this with you. It's not much, but it might be useful. It's dangerous to walk around the mansion unarmed.
Thank you, Father, but what are you going to do without a weapon?
My child, with a Bible in my hand, God protects me.
Well, I guess it's a heavy book, so it'll do damage, but yes, this is our weapon. A modified nail gun. And it hurts.
I came here looking for information about the two girls in this photograph.
I see. What do you want to know about them?
Anything, really. I was hoping to find some leads around here.
I don't know what you're looking for, but I can tell you these girls are no longer with us. There was an incident some decades ago where they disappeared, never to be found again.
That sounds terrifying.
Indeed, if you want more details, you could try the mansion library. I'm sure you'll find something there.
Thank you, Father. Take care.
So anyway, this is pretty much one of three major characters that we're going to be meeting throughout the game. And by major characters, I mean those that they actually bother to render. So, yeah, again, bear in mind this is an indie game and, well, okay, let's kind of disseminate a few things here and there before we get to important story bits. But yeah, well, actually, you know what, I'll talk about gameplay a little bit later, just to give myself a little something to talk about as we explore around here. But yes, this is, Father Christian Man. We don't exactly know his name, but, yeah, he's a pretty kindly old fellow, has a spiritual belief in God, so, quite naturally to any horror fan, this gives off, like, three specific impressions. Either A, he's a legitimately nice guy who's gonna die in a sacrificial Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of way. Two, he's gonna survive the entire game and just be a source of inspiration and comfort when we need it most. Or three, he's evil. But, yeah, we don't exactly know what his deal is yet, and, you know what, I'm sure nothing will ever happen to him that's anyway bad. Anyway, as you can tell throughout this X-ray room, we seem to be getting a lot of radiation symbols all over the place. But, anyway, let's talk about a bit more mythos with, well, William Wildburger, who makes some wild burgers. And dear God, it's been a while since I last commentated because my brain is all over the place. But anyway, it seems Maria is now pregnant with a baby Jesus. Mazel tov. Whoopee. And they feel sick. I wouldn't know how that feels because I've never had a baby, because, dear God, that would be a frightening experience. But yes, indeedy, it seems William is excited. Yay. Anyways, look at all these radiation suits. Rather unusual looking ones. I'm sure a bit of this is more to do with the Tormented Souls art design team, but well, again, considering that this hospital was established around, I think in terms of the in-game chronology, it's like the 30s or 40s? Yeah, I guess maybe that was what the sort of suits they wore back then? I'm just trying to remember back, actually. Was it the Manhattan Project was around that time as well? I don't know. But anyway, we gotta restore the power. Because, I mean, well, as you could probably tell with that nasty creature outside, we can't exactly do much with just a lighter, and as I mentioned previously, even if you can wander into the darkness, you can't actually do anything. You can't interact with items and objects, you can't mess with, you know, weapons, you can't fire anything, so, yeah, you're pretty much up shit creek, so we need to restore the light. But in order to do that, we pretty much have to mess with the valve puzzles. Gas manual? Something tells me that wasn't translated. Which, I mean, yeah, it's also something to bring up. The team that developed Tormented Souls, Dual Effect, and Abstract Digital Works, yeah, they're actually from Argentina. So, again, bear in mind, English isn't their first language, and in terms of the translation job, I will say that Tormented Souls is actually pretty well translated, but you do get the odd thing here and there where, yeah, translation's a bit spotty. Oh, by the way, to talk about the map system a little bit more briefly, you pretty much just click the L3 or whatever the fuck to pretty much bring up your map, and yeah, you pretty much switch between the different maps that you pick up naturally by clicking on the yellow tags. Again, I get the impression that this was designed for PC first and foremost, so again, it's probably a little bit more expedient to, you know, use the mouse to click on it, but a little bit less so for console, so yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, my gold standard for maps in terms of survival horror games is still Silent Hill. Because, I mean, everything is very clearly marked, you know where you are in relation to other rooms. Tormented Souls kind of goes more Resident Evil with the whole thing, by which I mean classic Resident Evil, so, like, I mean, it'll pretty much highlight the room or hallway that you're in, but not what you need to do and what rooms are blocked off. So, yeah, I wouldn't say the map is incomprehensible, but because, I mean, it does actually label specific puzzles, save rooms, and places, you know, where you've been and where you need to go. But, yeah, it can be a little bit, well, puzzling, for the lack of a better phrase. Anyway, to talk about the valve puzzle, basically you're gonna match the air pressure to the valve pressure. And let there be light. Mazel tov. Our god has not failed us, and now we have power. Which also means that we get to use our handy-dandy nail gun. Which I suppose I might as well bring it up here. Yeah, unlike your typical Resident Evil, or even Silent Hill really, you're basically using like a lot of makeshift weapons. Like, I mean, this is pretty much your pistol. The crowbar, despite being, you know, used to pry off boards, which I think is the only item usage it really gets in this game, yeah, that's pretty much your melee weapon. But let me just say, this game takes a bit more influence from combat in terms of Resident Evil Classic, more than it does Silent Hill, where melee weapons could at least be somewhat reliable. Here on the other hand, it's, well, Resident Evil, again, enemies take a set amount of shots. Well, this creature right here pretty much, Jesus. It pretty much takes up a full clip of your ammunition, but, yeah. Again, if you pretty much want to go, well, hard on this thing, yeah, just give it a couple of whacks with a cane, 40 whacks with a wet noodle, Caroline, and it's pretty much good. So, yeah, for those of survival horror conscious among you, or for those who aren't, I might as well fill you in on the tactics. Basically, when you see an enemy, pepper them with shots from your nail gun, and then go to town on it with your crowbar. This is pretty much going to be a helpful tip for you because, again, much like many games in this style, you're going to want to conserve your ammunition, and again, while if you're savvy enough, you will generally have enough supplies to last you, and the game does provide you with at least enough ammunition and supplies to last you if you're conservative about how you play. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's too difficult, it's just a bit harrowing when you start out because you really need to know which enemies you need to make sacrifices on and which rooms that you frequent that you're going to have to clear the pathway with. But again, that's pretty much a mindset you'll naturally slip into as you get more experience with the game, and well, I mean, again, as I mentioned before, I haven't played a game like this in quite some time, and it was really exciting for me. But anyway, maintenance. And here's where we get to see a little something about the hospital's patients, where they apparently seem to be getting stronger than they were able to, and Well, let's just say they're very protective of the hospital they inhabit. I wonder what mysteries are going on around here, in tandem with Caroline's, well, apparent amnesia, because it seems that she couldn't remember meeting the father, because life isn't quite that simple. But I mean, to put it in brass tacks, yeah, something fishy's going on, and we're gonna find out what in the Tormented Souls adventure. And yes, this is also the patient that was mentioned in the memo in the last part, who couldn't be transferred to the other hospital and was having a heart transplant. And of course, you might be thinking we could just use the plastic heart, but no! It seems this is going to require some other dimensional stuff, and oh, she's holding onto the hex socket, so rather than, I don't know, prying it out of her hand with the crowbar, no, she's apparently suffering from a bit of the rigor mortis, so, whatever. Bright flashing light. But, yeah, we don't have quite all that we need just yet, so, this will require a bit more exploration. Anyway, onwards to new adventure, and, yes, much in the same vein as, I think Silent Hill 1, actually? Oh, no, it was Silent Hill 2. Yeah, by the time you encounter your first enemy, yeah, enemies are pretty much going to be spawning all throughout the mansion, and that does actually kind of bring me to a point. Like, I mean, if you're able to, like, again, probably more so on the PC version than anything else, but, like, if you're able to, like, glitch past, you know, the enemy encounter, you know, you had in the basement, would enemies not appear throughout the game, or would the game just crash? I don't know, just kind of curious. But, yeah, these enemies in particular, I'm pretty much just calling them the hop-alongs. Again, fear-sapping as that name might be, yeah, you pretty much sap 6 nails into their skin, then just give them 40 whacks with the wet noodle, Caroline, and yeah, they're pretty much dead. To kind of talk about these creatures a little bit more, they also have 2 attacks, unlike the knife wheelchair people. Again, they pretty much have 2 attacks, one of which is, well, let's just call it what it is here, a rip-off of the lying figure attack where they spit acid at you, although it looks more like blood, so what is it meant to be, really? And then, of course, they pretty much just have their slash attack, because they also have knives on their fingers, like Eddie Kruger. And, yeah, since they're pretty much all throughout the mansion, and places that you clearly need to get to, yeah. Again, much in the same vein as also Jill Valentine, actually, you also have a dodge mechanic. And this is very useful in, you know, dodging pretty basic attacks. Again, if you can master this attack, you can actually get through the game without wasting too many healing items, but, well, I mean, unfortunately, and again, this is more so on my part than the game itself, I'm a bit unreliable at the dodge thing, so, yeah. Because, I mean, the game itself is responsive enough so that it can respond to your movements and inputs, again, with about as much reliability as you'd expect, so, again, yeah, just, requires a lot of practice and timing, but again, you will eventually get good at the game's mechanics. And here's where we learn a little bit more about William Wildberger's father, Bertram, who, yes, gives us a bit of an insight as to not only where his family's wealth and fortune came from, since William's father was the one that set up the mansion hospital to begin with, but in turn that he seemed to have a few secrets that involve some very dark, twisted things. It's kind of funny, actually, because, I mean, I was thinking back to, I think it was the Zero Punctuation episode about, Tormented Souls. I think it was that in another game that Yahtzee was covering, but, yeah, he kind of, like, one of the things he brought up was, like, how the cult stuff sort of came out of nowhere, but I don't know, like, it does gradually build up into it, so I really don't know what the fuck he was getting at. So, yeah, he's stupid. Don't listen to him. But yeah, regardless, it seems that William's family is pretty fucked up, and they were part of something, well, very occultic. What it is? Well, we'll just have to find out throughout the rest of the game, but let's just say, yeah, Caroline has indeed dug herself into a world of trouble, and whether or not she'll get out of this alive, nobody knows but you, player of the game, Tormented Souls. On a serious note, though, I'm very curious as to how William managed to escape, or if his dad ever confronted him about this. I mean, I don't know, it just seems like something that you've seen too much, so let's indoctrinate you or kill you? Well, then again, there might be a reason for why they had William survive, in terms of the spoiler reasons, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Ah, yes, the dentist room. Creepy, scary, as all visits to the dentist usually are. Well, unless of course your teeth have a massive amount of cavities, in which case that is also rather scary. More medicine. I don't know if I talked about this previous part, probably not, because I was in a bit of an excited ramble mode last time, but yeah, morphine is pretty much your health. Which, I mean, again, I can understand why, but, well, I mean, morphine isn't exactly the sort of drug you'd probably want to have on a survival horror adventure. Or at the very least, not in large doses, and what is this? The doll? It has moved from its previous position? Oh, dearie me. But anyway, yeah, morphine tends to make you a little bit, well, loosey-goosey, so yeah, I don't think that'd really be something to keep your wits up. I mean, honestly, you'd be a bit sluggish, so I'd imagine the monsters would get to you, which does kind of make me wonder why they never, like, sort of adapted that into, like, a sort of risk versus reward factor for a survival horror game. Like, I mean, you temporarily heal your injuries, but at the same time, you're also a bit more prone to attack, your moves are a bit more sluggish, give you something to manage. I don't know. Maybe something to not overly rely on your healing items and, basically just be a thing to get God, as the children say, or said, in 2015. A secret passage! And yeah, this is where the game goes a bit more Silent Hill on us. Not necessarily for what you're going to be seeing in this little room, but rather for, well, what you're about to witness at the end of the video. So, yes, as we scout around for a few items here and there, and listen to the scary wolves howl in this tiny room. Yeah, we see a mirror. Flashes of Silent Hill origins begin to make themselves apparent, and a cross. So don't worry, so long as we're in this room, we shall be protected by Baby Jesus. So, yeah, as you can see here, there are 2 candles on the mirror. Light those up and, well, we're pretty much good to go. So on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Tormented Souls commentary, well, let's just say we're going to be seeing our mirror image. Catch you dudes and dudettes next time, and I'll see you later.